Murder hornets are a bigger threat than COVID. A statistic. What's up, guys? You're in and welcome back to another video. Now, note to self, do not, under any circumstances, forget your vlog stick if you are vlogging. Because nature has got loads of handholds and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, they're all weird. So it's never practical, especially if you're using, there's no straight edges and stuff are only in man-made. And the trees and stuff, you got to sort of beat it into submission. So this isn't on the actual camera. So it's currently NoFap day 8, and I have a lot to talk about today. But first things first, let me get something out of the way. I got a hilarious comment on one of my previous videos, about how NoFap is a cult, and that it's like a cult of people who are sort of denying pleasure. And you know what? I think a lot of them are. I think that a lot of people on NoFap who are like die-hard ascetics who don't believe in any sort of form of pleasure, but it's a freaking fraction of the people that are actually doing it. When you actually look at it, like denying masturbation is pretty much similar to denying, I believe anyway, alcohol. It's unnecessary. It doesn't really need to happen. It doesn't have any. Well, it does have benefits. Not NoFap, but not doing NoFap. It does have some benefits, but when you actually look at the drawbacks, I'm sitting right in the middle of an ant trail. Oh well, I'm gonna feel itching in a bit. If you actually look at those benefits, you can actually see that like it's worth it. It's not like some random cult where it's like, yeah, join my cult and we'll summon Cthulhu or some sort of shit like that. Plus, what you'll find in cults is that there's no leader. You know what I mean? There's no one person that's doing it. It's just a load of individual guys. Yeah, there's channels like mine where guys will congregate and other channels, but mostly it's like just people. You know what I mean? But still, next thing I want to talk about, I have uncovered a surprising new level of respect, and saying it that it's surprising is actually kind of surprising. I'm surprised quite often. That's a lot better. In the sense that mainly in the last 24 to 48 hours, I really just sat down and had a bit of a life review where I was like, where am I going and what do I want and what do I really want out of life? And I mean a real life review, you know what I mean? It's sort of a life, not like, you know, sit down and plan your future career or you know, something like that. Because I find in our culture anyway, it's people have a big precedent to like be like, what are you gonna do for like a big job? Oh, do this career. That's gonna be all this sort of stuff without the whole like, where do you actually want to see yourself? And when I say that, when I ask myself that question, I don't just mean financially. I don't just mean, you know, or some goal, you know, married or whatever. I mean like as a whole, like I imagine how I want to feel, how I want to be, the circumstances I want to be in, how I feel in those circumstances, and the things that I've changed based on those circumstances. And I came up to a really, really stark conclusion, is that I have not freaking asked myself that question in far too long. Like, I have not honestly sat down and said, like, where do I really see myself? I think because I've been really putting it off and dealing with really short-term challenges and like short-term, all right, this needs to be fixed, let's fix it kind of things. But then when things start to stabilize like they are, I'm stable financially, I'm stable in my job, I'm stable in my career, all this sort of stuff. I mean, stable, not flourishing, you know what I mean? It's like when you live in London, living in London is easy, thriving is hard. The prices are so goddamn high for freaking everything that you can work 2 days a week and live in a freaking cupboard under the stairs. You're living in London. Are you thriving? Probably not. So I'm just about thriving in London. But like, I just really sat and asked myself that. And I came to a really weird conclusion that not just I don't know, but there was a single-minded absence of, I really don't know how to describe it. It was like I asked that question and then like the audience just went quiet. You know what I mean? It was like, huh, like I really don't know, you know, where I'm going or sort of like what I'm doing. And I mean, in one way that's absolutely fine. You can actually be fine with that. Some people are just fine drifting through life and then things just sort of happen to them. Some people, that's actually a good thing. But what I found and what generated me a new sense of self-respect was that I was starting to think, all right, what do I want on like a base level? Let's dig deep let's freaking psychoanalyze myself. What do I want? You know what I mean? And I went through a whole list of things until I came to one that sort of stopped me in my tracks. It was approval. And again, this is from like a base instinct. I didn't sit down and think to myself, I really want everyone to like me. It was that there was this burning desire for the approval of others that sometimes is very, it's really there. Do you know what I mean? It's really there. It's something that really governs my life more than I actually wanted it to. And what I realized actually is that, can I take all that caring about what other people think and subconsciously wanting to impress people and divert it to myself? And I realized I could. I realized that fucking shocked me is that at no point did I ever seek my own approval. Did I ever seek to impress myself? Because the whole idea seems a bit schizophrenic, doesn't it? Like, why would I ever want to seek my own, you know, agreement or satisfaction? I mean, hell, I'm never satisfied with anything. How could I ever be satisfied? But what I looked at it as is, imagine if you had the stern father in your head and he wanted what was really best for you, which is your achievements. Would you not want to impress him? Because he's you. Do you know what I mean? He's you. And what I realized is that, like, if I actually think about it, I want to get my own approval. I want to impress myself. I want that more than I want to impress other people. And in fact, when I actually focus on doing that, focus on making something that I can look back at the end of the day and say, like, wow, like, that was really, really good. I'm so proud of myself that I did that. You know, I feel way more motivated to do things. Because I tell you, like, again, this sort of goes back to the whole procrastination thing. We like to think that we procrastinate a lot. We like to think that we don't have any motivation to do X, Y, and Z. But it's not a lack of motivation. It's not a lack of energy. It's none of that. Because you can sit on your ass and you can watch Netflix all day. That requires patience. Just, all right, sit and watch something. Sit in the woods and just look at a log. It's difficult. For hours. It's difficult. Sit and try and read a book. It's difficult. Why is it different with Netflix? You have the ability to persevere. It's just a question of whether or not you're actually channeling it to the right places. So what I found out is that most of the time, when I look at it, and I look at it from a perspective of I actually want to impress myself, and I actually want to get my own approval, it ceases to become, oh, I have to do something. Oh, I just wanted this to look. It becomes personal. It becomes, I want to do it because I want to do it. Why? Because I want to look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day and say, well done. And I mean, the whole spiritual movement has really made this into a bit of a shit show with the whole repeating affirmations and the flawed logic that a lot of the stuff that they use. And I would consider myself a spiritual person anyway. But this whole idea that you just repeat something until it happens, and I've done it. Law of attraction does work, even to the point where I should make a video about how whenever I try it, it manifests things so freaking quickly that I get scared, like it did last week. Over a 48-hour period, I was making stuff happen every 24 hours. It was scary. But the problem is that I didn't just sit and I thought about it. There was a whole principle behind that. But sitting there and telling yourself, oh, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Now that's powerful. Problem is, it's got a lot of cheese attached to it. Because a lot of the time, people don't love themselves for who they really are. They just say, oh, if I keep saying these phrases, I'll feel better. And yeah, you will feel better, you know, if you get through all the different self-doubts. But it's just forced, and it doesn't feel right. So I think a lot of people have this idea of wanting to get your own approval, I think, as like, why would I? Who am I to? It's just egotistical. Why would you want that? But quite frankly, why the fuck would I want anyone else's approval but my own? You know what I mean? Why would anyone want anyone else's other approval, anyone else's other approval but their own? Now, logically and evolutionarily speaking, you do want other people's approval. You want the approval of the alpha males. You want the approval of the chiefs. You want the approval of fucking people who are generally linked to your survival. And it goes right back deep into those primordial urges of wanting to fit in with the tribe, wanting to get with the tribe. I'm just going to check if this is still going. Yep, sweet. Wanting to get with the tribe, so that you don't get thrown out. So it goes very, very, very fucking deep into the weeds, whereby you, I just realized there's a lot of people walking past, and because they can't see the camera, it looks like I'm just talking to myself on a log. I'm monologuing with my invisible friend. Imagine if you actually had a genuine invisible friend who was just the funniest person in the world. It would be torture. It's like, just go away. Just laughing to yourself continuously. You're like, dude, like, what's so funny? I've always wanted a, you know, it's not one of my videos without a segue, and this is where people stop watching my video. I've always wanted a familiar. Yeah, a familiar is like, do you know Sabrina and the Teenage Witch? The cat Salem, I think his name was. I've always wanted like a freaking spirit animal to like follow me around and just be super intelligent and like do shit for me. That'd be so cool. I get a Savannah rifle. I get a freaking Puma, mate. Like that Russian couple. But yeah, back to what I was saying. When you look at it from a perspective of, I actually want to get my own approval, at least from my perspective, I find that it's a lot easier to sort through the shit that is unnecessary. Like, for example, why am I doing X challenge, Y challenge, Z challenge? Why am I making any sort of life choices? Is that for my approval? Or is that for approval from my parents? Or the approval from my girlfriend? Or some random person's approval? Because believe it or not, you're constantly trying to seek some sort of feeling that it's okay by your own mind, even if you don't think it's your own mind. Many of the time you tell yourself, I really just want this to be perfect, and but it's not from sort of a place of like, I want it to be perfect because I want to be in balance. It's more from a place of, I want it to be perfect because I'll feel insecure if it isn't. And this isn't coming from a place of insecurity. I generally want to look in the mirror and say to myself, I'm proud of you. And again, that sounds corny. Many people couldn't do it, but I just want to look and say, I'm freaking proud of you. You've done it. And then when you actually look at it again from that perspective, it's like, why would you not want to do it? Anyway, I think I've rambled on about that topic anymore. I want to talk a bit about one-itis and really some of the psychological roots that I uncovered for the reasons for one-itis, and really just how do I really want to talk about one-itis? I'm going to pause so I can edit this out. I have to remember to edit this out. I'm talking to you. You, the person on Sony Vegas watching right now that's recording this, you better edit me out. Yeah, you lazy fuck. What am I doing? Be proud of yourself. I'm never going to think of what I'm actually going to talk about if I just sit here rambling. Nice weather, eh? Fuck. Anyway, yeah, so as the actual NoFap is going, my flatline, I'm starting to edge again. I apologize. It's difficult. And I've started to really entertain the idea that I actually need to spend more time. I think that's why I'm at the park and see if I can chat to some girls and do another video, hopefully. I think I'm going to spend a bit more time around female company to try and channel that energy back into them. Because what I found when I actually went onto the whole online dating thing is that a lot of the urges actually totally went. And now I know there's a lot of people saying, no, you should abstain, you should do this, you should do that. But I find that it's actually easier to not jack off when I'm around women. Funnily enough, maybe because it will be kind of awkward if you just busted it out right in front of them. But it's more that actually capitalizing and really experiencing that female energy sort of feels a need, sort of similar to when I was doing a water fast. And I literally got through my water fast by watching cooking videos. And I'm sorry internet, I'm sorry I did this. Mukbangs. Yep. It's what got me through. If you don't know what that is, don't. Just don't. Like ASMR, cute Japanese chick eating KFC. I was starving and it was feeling that urge. And I think a lot of this, just like with any sort of a discipline, is sometimes you really have to learn how to tread the line. And I mean, if you edge, then you know what treading the line is. But like sometimes you have to learn with a lot of disciplines how to tread the line, where it's like, okay, I want to quit alcohol, but should I go to a pub? Am I comfortable within myself to be able to, hold back from that? And I found that I actually developed that, for example, with cigarettes. I didn't say this, but I quit smoking. I quit smoking at the beginning of the year. I still occasionally vape, and nicotine's my next biggest thing. But if you're able to actually like toe the line, it's actually worth it. And I honestly don't see why, unless you're actually going up and approaching for the prospect of dating, why continuous in like going out and like going to meet people and stuff like that, why you're on NoFap is actually a bad idea. Linking back into that NoFap and sex thing, it's like, just do it in between. Just don't do it in between. I mean, definitely don't do it. Don't freaking do it in between. And if you can actually cultivate that, then it's freaking way better. Anyway, I think I've rambled enough. That's all I'm going to say for today, guys. Yeah, that's it. Peace.